This is everything I eat in a day to get this type of transformation. I used to be 255 pounds. I'm now sitting at about 220 on any given day. I was able to achieve this through locking in my diet, my hormones, my sleep schedule, and of course, my training routine. Specifically, today I'm going to be talking about eating because it's just one of the things that I find most people have the biggest issue with. I've been a personal trainer in person and online for over 10 years. I've worked with pro athletes, celebrities, and everyday real people, and these are the biggest things that I see in today's society that are prohibiting people from getting from point A to point B with their body. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is just simply what I eat in a day. So again, I'm sitting at about 220 pounds. I need to be eating 220 to about 280 grams of protein every single day for me to maintain my body mass, my muscle mass right now. And I am slowly growing in muscle mass because I'm not trying to go through a bulk phase. I want to remain lean. And I'm sitting right now at, again, 220 pounds. So being able to maintain that amount of protein intake every day can be very challenging. But I want to show you today how to do that. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do that I eat is typically a banana and a big protein shake. And this is the biggest key to getting enough protein in the morning is getting 50 grams of protein in your first meal or snack, whatever you do in the morning. So I do 2 scoops of protein every single morning. I do first form Formula One, typically chocolate or vanilla protein. I mix that with colostrum and also my unflavored creatine. I take about 10 grams of creatine every single morning. This kickstarts my morning with having a lot of protein. It's about 48 to 50 grams of protein every morning. And then the banana is quick metabolizing carbs and sugars. And of course, it's very healthy for you, the amount of potassium that's in a banana, because typically I'm doing some form of cardio or just low impact walking with my dog in the morning. And again, it starts my day getting enough protein in. And then my second meal of the day, because I do consider a shake and a banana, I'm just going to list that as a meal just to make things simple for you guys. My second meal is a already meal prepped, about 2 cups of rice with about 40 grams of protein worth of lean ground beef. That's typically, I do everything based off of my site just because I used to meal prep extremely intensely when I used to compete in bodybuilding when I was 19 years old. So over the years, I have just been able to eye it. And after that meal, that which is around 11 a.m. or so, I will then typically have a snack, which is 1 to 2 first form beef sticks, which have 18 grams of protein per, and also a protein bar, which has about 24 grams of protein. So that right there is about 40 to 46 grams of protein, depending on the protein bar that I'm eating from first form, because they vary depending on the protein bar. And then also there's about 20 grams of carbs in that protein bar. So that right there brings me up to about 110 to 125 grams of protein in the day. And then typically around 4 or 5 p.m., I'm having another meal, which is a little bit of sweet potato or some more white rice or white potato. And then I will typically have a whole chicken breast and a half or more ground beef. And you're going to catch wind very fast that I eat a lot of ground beef. It's the simplest thing for me to do to get enough protein because it can be so diversified with the meals, whether it be a protein bowl, it can be an actual steak, it can be tacos with low carb tortillas, which is a very common thing that I do. And the last meal of the day that I typically do is in low carb to no carb tortillas. I will have tacos. I'll typically put avocado, sometimes cheese, even though dairy. I typically try not to have dairy unless it's like raw milk or something like that. But that's typically what I do, and that brings me then to my final thing that I eat. So that was my last meal, and the final thing that I do is just have a snack, and that is typically another beef stick with another low carb protein bar from First Form. The strawberry shortcake is incredible. It tastes like a dessert. And that right there is bringing me over the 200 grams of protein that day range. Now, that is just the average day. Days where I'm working out heavy lower body workouts, where I'm doing a 2 a day where I will 1 to 2 times a week do about a 2 mile run in the morning, stretching and whatnot, and then go hit a hard upper body day or a functional fitness full body day in the evening or late afternoon. If there's a day like that, I will typically add a whole other meal, which will add 30 to 50 more grams of protein in a day. After my workout, if especially I have a 2 a day, instead of doing whole foods, I'll have another protein shake, which is usually around 30 grams of protein, not another 2 scooper. But that's just a very easy thing for me to do. Again, the biggest thing I see is just people are not getting enough protein in their diet, because in order to lose fat mass, you want to be able to maintain that muscle mass and slowly grow that muscle mass if you're in the gym, getting the work in there. And moving on now to meal prepping, the big thing I see with this is just being able to get enough healthy carbs and protein prepped. Fats are very simple. You have an avocado, you have healthy olive oils, or you want to stay away from seed oils, even bacon grease, and red meat fat. It is good for you, so don't get that wrong. A lot of people try to bash that and say that that is causing high cholesterol and whatnot. I completely disagree. You need to have those types of healthy fats. Human beings have always had that. Animal predators have that every single time that they eat, because it is extremely beneficial for you. If you want proper neurological functioning, you need healthy fats in your body because it fuels your brain. So that being said, I will typically 2 times a week bulk make a bunch of mashed potatoes with just some salt, some thyme, and some pepper potentially, and then a little bit of grass-fed butter, which again, that even is just healthy fats. Get the grass-fed, don't cheapen out just getting some nonsense that is completely manufactured. Get something that's actually healthy for you. And then I'll put that in the mashed potatoes or sweet potato mashed potatoes. And then besides that, I'll do basmati rice. That's the carbs that I bulk meal prep. And then besides that, I'll typically meal prep either ground turkey, ground beef, or I will do a bunch of chicken breasts. There's also a place here in Miami where for very cheap you can get really, really good rotisserie chicken, and I'll get a few of those to last throughout the week. Realistically, I'll eat, half a chicken to a whole chicken, honestly, in one meal, depending on the day. But that's just another simple route to go. You can go to Kroger and get rotisserie chicken for cheap. Even Whole Foods, the non-organic one, is nice and easy. We can talk later at another video about the healthiness of chicken and where to get it that can be better. But we're strictly just talking about getting your macros in today, not the perfection when it comes to what type of foods you're getting at each store and where they're manufactured or grown or processed, and how horrible the quality of the meat can be, because that's a whole other discussion. But guys, I hope this helps. Just again, reiterating, getting the amount of protein that you need every single day is the biggest key just to maintain and increase your muscle mass. Deviating from processed foods, obviously processed sugars is horrendous for you. I am not one to say no sugar. I will typically also, in my morning meal, if it is right before a workout, if I need to have a workout in the morning, I will typically add to that banana some honey or something like that, just like half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. And that will be my pre-workout fast metabolizing sugars that will increase my capability of utilizing glucose to be able to get me through the workout. And guys, I hope this helps. Love you guys. Thank you for sticking along in this video. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Comment if anything was beneficial to you and something that you can take from this video. Have a good weekend, y'all.